Hey there, happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday, TGIF. Welcome to another live stream with Bobby Legs and no friends. Is it two streams in a row? I'm going to have no friends. You guys are my friends on the chat, and I appreciate you guys, all the support that you have given me throughout this time. Um, yeah, we got a big week next week, right? We got Watches and Wonders. And we're going to talk about some of the releases that have come out this week, and some of the releases that we thought should have came out this week, but haven't. I'm thinking specifically Omega and what's going on with that. Anyway, guys, I am wearing my GP Seahawk 2. Great watch. The original luxury watch, the first luxury watch I bought over almost 18 years. Oh, no, it's going to be March of 2005 is when I picked this one up. So, almost 18 years. Hey, look, it's Dib Jyoti. How you doing, Dib? What's going on, my friend?
Doing good. How's it
Yeah.
going?
Thanks for joining us this evening. What's new, man?
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got my peacock on the wrist. Yeah,
Very nice. Very
really good
nice.
watch.
Yeah. And have you gotten anything in recently that is worth a note of?
I got a Doxa in. You know,
Wait, you got a Seiko Doxa. Yeah, congratulations, man. It's been a while, right, since you've had a Doxa in the collection.
yeah, it's
Uh,
almost been a year. I think the last Doxa I got was in December of 21.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've been feeling the itch. Like let me
Hmm.
get a Doxa.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of mix up the divers a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is my third diver in the
Yeah.
collection right now.
Yeah. And you
With
got some
the
bangers, man. You got the sub and the that Seiko, right? That
Yeah, the
SLA.
SLA 043,
Yeah.
and this one. So I'll have a diver trio
Wow.
for the summer at least.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's going to last through the year,
Yeah.
but yeah, I have a bunch of watches coming in tomorrow and Monday.
Yep.
So it's going to be a busy week or weekend.
Excellent. Well, that's good to hear, and congratulations on the Doxa. Let's Hey, why don't we say hello to some of the people in the chat, and then we'll get on to some of the shows. And I got an interesting question that I want to ask you about Grand Seiko, and we'll address that in a little bit. But let's say hello to the chat here. MD Chaz, yo, watches, what's going on? Yeah. I've made that similar post recently this evening. Um, James, happy Friday. Oh, what's going on, James? Dan is rocking his Longines Spirit. Congratulations, Dan. Yeah, on that watch. Yeah, you picked that up a few weeks ago. Great watch. James Duffy's wearing his Sova for Fliga Friday. There you go. Wilson's here. Marceau is here wearing the blue side of the moon tonight. Bonjour, Maison One. How are you? Or bonsoir, right? It's the evening and nighttime. Underachieving watch collector is in the house. Steve Hill is here. Chaz from the Berg, what is up? Hey, Chris Thorne, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, Chaz is also wearing his Doxa Army for Dib tonight. Bruno is here. How you doing, Bruno? Chris is wearing his Boulevard Lunar Pilot tonight. Classic. Stefan's here. Good evening, everybody. Wearing his black Ceramic Seamaster 300M tonight. Very nice. Rob Nitro, what's going on? Hey, Scott Tarlow's here. Hello, friends. I'm here wearing my titanium Pelagos 39 in honor of the Explorer 39 millimeter titanium Oysterflex coming out next week. Oh man, can you imagine that? That would probably break the internet, right? Don't you think, Deb?
Any new Rolex breaks the internet, so it's not a new thing. But titanium, I think definitely there will be more interest than the usual interest.
Yeah,
So yeah,
for sure. Um, Bobby needs less friends, less lazy friends. Oh, wow, ouch. That hurts a little bit there. Thomas Burnett is here. Joey B, what is going on? Hey, Wayben's here. How you doing, Wayben? Um, let's see here. Oh, Colin, what's going on? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Um, get in there, Chris. All right, yeah. Let's see. Let's give Chris an invite here. Um, why not? Um, Anish is here. Hey, Anish, what's going on? Hey, William Rizzo, how you doing, sir? Hey, Rob from Mountain Standard Time is here. Um, yeah, Colin wanted to be on tonight, but kids have different plans for me. Hey, I know about that, man. The kids just went to bed, and my wife was like, she said she was going to take them to bed. I'm like, oh, are you sure? Yikes. Okay, so hopefully we don't have too many screaming kids here going on. Caliber YQG is here. How you doing, Caliber? Ken Spear checking in from Pittsburgh. He is wearing his PRX and Green Alpinist tonight. Um, Jim T is here. Have your Mings arrived yet, sir? Jim wants to know. No.
now GMT was supposed to be delivered in Feb. It got delayed till June. Um, the the 3707 sometime this summer. There's not even a estimated date. Like that. That's all I got.
Yeah.
It's on schedule, but you never know.
Yeah.
Thing.
Uh, Junior's here from all the way from Michigan. Hey, Time Hill's wearing his Yachtmaster tonight. Hey, Celine Driver's here. How you doing, sir? He's wearing his Resonance Type 1 Titanium. Very nice. Hey, AB's here, wearing his Moonswatch. Wow. Sup, intern. Good to see you on the chat, as always. Um, uh, Cabby Lake. How you doing, Cabby? Good to see you here. Michael B is here. Bill K, what is up? Um, Karan is here. How you doing, Karan? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us this evening. Really appreciate you stopping by. But I kind of like put it out there about Grand Seiko. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Hey, what's
Good
up,
to
guys?
have you on.
What's up, dude?
Hey, Chris.
What I've noticed, and I think I was overhearing some of my friends talking earlier today about this, and Chris, I'd love to hear your insight on this. Is Grand Seiko, right? Um, that white birch, the prices are just like tumbling on that piece. Deb, what is going on with that watch?
I honestly don't know. I mean, every except a few brands, Rolex, AP, Patek, everything goes down in value.
Yeah,
It's just that with the white birch, I don't know if it's an anomaly or not, but it just doesn't keep value. Took a quote from Crown and Caliber, and I'm sure other dealers are going to be in the same ballpark. So 4,000, it's a $9,000 watch.
yeah,
Usually, like in the forums or pre-owned retailers, they sell it for mid six, low sixes, and sometimes you find a bad example for very cheap price. So
yeah,
I don't know what's going on. Every other Grand Seiko, like they have the typical depreciation and they kind of stick at a point. It doesn't go below that, but the Whitebird just keeps, it just keeps going lower and lower. So I don't
yeah.
know, what exactly happened with that brand, but with that watch, it exactly.
Hmm.
But who knows? All I know is people, higher up in the Grand Seiko lineup or chain, they know the situation and they're trying to address it, but it takes time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If you release how many watches do they release? Like 60 watches a year, that has to be, you have to take the blame for that, right?
Yeah.
So
Karan, thank you so much for the shoot. I really really appreciate it. You're very generous. Thank you so much, Chris. You're on the dealer side of it, right?
mm,
Have you do you sell a lot of white birches
oh,
or Grand Seikos?
not really. I mean, we have a few Grand Seikos in stock right now. We have a DMT.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm not really great at memorizing the reference numbers. We
yeah.
have a
No worries.
a snowflake and a the green the Rika, I think it is. If
Mm,
you know that one, Deb. But it's one of those brands that secondary, I feel like you have to buy secondary because they do tend to take a hit. It's a great brand. I love the
yeah.
brand. I think a lot of people have that problem of getting over the Seiko name on the label.
Mm,
They don't want to pay. Dib,
mm-hmm.
you'll probably know what I'm talking about. Like it's compared to like Ubo, I guess you could say. Like people don't want to buy first hand; they would rather buy second hand. I feel like.
Yeah.
I think, and it's a two-part answer for me at least. I like what Grand Seiko is doing, and I dislike what they're doing. Because on one hand, whether you buy it new or buy it pre-owned, especially at the price point you are comfortable with, because there are some watches which you should buy brand new, even if you take a little bit of a hit, just because they have such a big polished surface that if you buy a used one, there's going
Mm,
to be scratches on it.
yeah.
So if
Yeah.
Mm.
you're willing to live with that, then take the hit, like then buy brand new. Sorry,
And
if you,
I,
yeah,
I'll
you
say,
guys know what I mean, right? So it's a great brand, but it kind of suffers from having too many SKUs in the catalog.
Mm,
And again, like the Seiko name, that does play a part, right? But on the other hand, I don't need to. I mean, I don't need to worry about anything. I want a Grand Seiko. I'll buy it tomorrow. I have
yeah.
one. I have a SLGH 003 coming in tomorrow. I have an SBGX 341 coming in on Monday. Do I have to play the games that I have to play with Rolex every day? No. So to
exactly.
me, that's a plus.
And I feel like them and Moser do some of the best styles in the industry. I feel like those two
Mm,
brands, them and Moser.
yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, and again, like I believe my friend Beans and Bezel. Shout out to him. He has shot a lot of good watches over the years, thanks to like getting in touch with people who have Gronefeld
Yeah.
and like Grubel Force and everything. And according to him, and he hates Grand Seiko. He's like the dials are second to none. So
Yeah. Yeah.
if that comes from a hater, I know that I've done a good job buying whatever Grand Seiko I like.
Yeah, and it's not only that the dials are beautiful, right? I've owned only one Grand Seiko, right, and that was the Sea of Cloud, and beautiful dial on that. But the polishing on
Mm-hmm.
the hands and indices, is up there with anything I've seen. And look, I mean, look, there's quite a few high end brands that I haven't never seen in person, right? So keep that in mind. But I've seen a lot of watches, and they're up there too with that. And that GS case, beautiful, highly polished. To your point that they get scratched up, and if you get in the secondary market, you're gonna see some of that. But man, I'm just looking at some of these prices on that birch, and I'm just like, wow, that one
I
is
mean,
like,
think about it. Think
mm,
about it. You can, be about Grand Seiko all you want. Used price, you are a customer who doesn't really like Grand Seiko, but at let's say $5,000, ignoring the eBay coupon that was part
yeah,
of the
yeah,
picture
yeah,
that
yeah,
they
yeah,
5 grand. Where are you getting a high beat movement with 80
yeah,
hours of power reserve with a double impulse escapement?
yeah.
I'm sorry, but I mean, and Colin makes a very good point. Like the company doesn't give AF about their customers or their money. True, and I like it because I don't have to beg for a watch, and I don't have to wait a year and a half for a watch where I might get it and then I have to play bloody games to get it. Why should I? I mean, 3.9. If you can do it, go for it. Why not?
Yeah.
But to me, I can at least for me, like I've been like that I've been on the wait list for a few Rolex, so over the last
Hmm.
few years.
Hmm.
It's gone to the point where it's a I can't win this game anymore. It's a
Yeah.
very rich man's game where everybody comes in and just buys whatever they can at full retail without knowing the actual value of the watch, and they get the watches before you do because they are a big spender, which from an AD's perspective makes a lot more sense, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I don't fault them for doing it. It's just you and I, as common people, we are caught in it. And if you're willing to pay the gray market price, you have Chris here, fantastic
Yeah,
business,
yeah.
you know, do it.
Speaking of
Like,
Chris, Wilson's asking, what's a better buy right now, Rich Meal or Grand Seiko?
I
uh,
obviously I'm more in a position to buy Grand Seiko at the moment, so I would go with Grand Seiko. Though I do love Richard Mille.
yeah,
One of the things I never got was like I never got like Richard Mille until I started working here, and now I get it.
yeah.
But obviously I can't afford it yet.
Yeah.
So
The intern, Rob, here's the change from last hour. Well, thank you, intern, for giving me the change and not pocketing it. You could have pocketed it though. No, no worries, no worries. Um, James is here. James is saying, I think the two white birch models so close together was a miscalculation. It took the shine off a hot watch. I don't know if that was it, right?
I think that was
Um,
definitely a part of the
it was
reason
part of
why.
it, but yeah.
But something went wrong with the white birch really badly,
Mm,
because if you look at the green birch, which is a boutique only, thank God, or the black birch, which is a regular release, 10,400 is probably the retail price, and I see them anywhere. Like if a gray market retailer like Luxury Bazaar or Toppers or wherever it is, they usually go for mid sevens to low eights, and that I think is a very acceptable number for a used
mm,
watch because it has
yeah,
depreciated to
yeah,
a point, like 20-30% below the retail price. So it has not gone down drastically like this watch, for example. So
yeah,
is it because everybody bought it and then they realize, oh, I don't want to keep it, and nobody could sell it? Maybe, but
yeah.
to me, it's a win-win and either way because I got the doc set today. Uh,
congrats on that. That's a sweet piece, by the way.
Thank you, but I did not. And again, like it was a purchase which I felt like I had to do to get some
Play a game.
to play
Yeah,
a game. So
yeah, yeah,
again,
yeah,
I love the watch. This is my seventh Doxa. So it's not like I bought something which I don't like, but
yeah.
I have two Grand Seikos coming in. I have a Bel Canto coming in next month. I have a Cartier coming in whenever Current sends me the watch. So I did not need to buy, you
Yeah.
know.
Joey B saying, I think part of the problem with pre-owned GS is that you don't get the brand new polish, which is so much more impressive with GS than other brands. Celine Driver does not understand the avoidance of Grand Seiko because it has for Seiko dial on it, and then turn around and then spend thousands on a Marine Mancer. Makes no sense. I think there is whether we understand it or not, Celine. I think there is a population that is turned off because there's Seiko. Wouldn't stop me from buying a Grand Seiko, but I think there is some, and that's probably based maybe a little bit on naivete, and not understanding that there is a clear difference between the two. Just because they share the name doesn't mean that it's the same. They're on the same level. Um, Joey B said, and Dib took the words right. Okay. Hey, Dib is here. How you doing? Like, subscribe, and tell your fickle friends. 5K
Sorry,
friends. Okay.
sorry,
Up there
Rob.
it is. Yep.
Uh,
Let's get that.
Rob from MST was wanting a look at the 300T that I got. So I got the diving start this time. The only thing I'm missing is the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But uh,
You were highlighting Colin's point before. Let me just read it out. White birch and white birch, spring dry, night birch, green birch. GS just plain Mr. Potato Head as usual. The company doesn't give AF about their customers
yeah,
and their
burn it
money.
to the ground. I mean, if you don't want to lose your money, don't buy a Grand Seiko. But I like
Right.
it. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
one of those watches you have to want to keep, or you're going to lose on the other end if you do so.
Yeah.
Basically.
Omowatari is one of Thomas's favorite. Cabby likes the green birch. It's pretty. Uh, Bruno says, I'm not a Seiko guy, but I've handled a GS at the dealer and was very impressed. Celine saying, I had a Snowflake for many years. What a great watch, gorgeous style, great polish. Um, just too many models for Joey B. Nothing feels sacred with them anymore. I remember when there was one Snowflake dial, there must be 50 now.
no,
Um, Scott saying, I think the watch market is soft in general. You can negotiate off most gray markets, first price right now, even on some Rolex and Pateks. Right, right. Absolutely, Scott. But I just for some reason I feel like the white birch is just it's even taking more
Yeah,
of a hit than
the white birch is bleeding out every day. It's like,
yeah.
oozing blood, like, like it's just bleeding every day.
Could it be a legibility issue with the white birch? Dave, what do you think? Could
I
it
don't
be?
think it's anything to do with the
Yeah,
watch. I mean, nothing wrong with the watch in general. It's just something happened there, which I again, like, me as a watch collector, I can't explain. But it's good for me. I'll buy the watch for 5 grand. I don't care. Like,
yeah.
some watches, I bought, Grand Seiko's pre-owned as well as new, depending
Mm,
on where the value is.
mm.
Fine by
Colin
me.
saying, Colin saying when the new Peacock dropped hard, I knew it couldn't be trusted. But I couldn't trust their retail pricing ever. That
Retail
watch should be
pricing on,
holding value better. Mm,
yeah, I can't speak to why it did not hold value. Again, that's not, the market decides that. But $6,800 for this case with the high beat GMT movement, this has, think about this. So Grand Seiko came out with different dial variations. In this case, with that movement, GMT for 6,800 for the last 3 years. They haven't raised the price on it one bit. So to me, that's a win. Whether it, again, whether it keeps value or not, it's a different conversation. It doesn't. I mean, if I try to sell this watch, I'll probably get five for it, so I'll
yeah.
get murdered. But I don't care. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You make money with some, you lose money with some, and you need to be okay with that as a watch collector. Otherwise, you'll always be on the hamster wheel chasing for a Rolex, which I do. I'm not going to exclude myself from that, but
Mm.
that's just it.
Karan saying GS has gone the Panerai route. I've been saying this for a long time.
Yeah,
And
the only
Wilson.
difference is Panerai has three models. GS has
Mm,
multiple models, multiple variations of movements. So there's a lot more options to play with. At the
yeah.
end of the day, between 3 grand and 6 grand, I look at the market and, like, what else do I have to buy? A Speedy, a Navitimer used, maybe that's at 7K. I don't see anything else, for at
Mm,
least from my eyes. And I don't like buying indies which might go belly up in 5 years. They look
yeah.
pretty, but that's not for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, look. I mean, I think the lesson here, if there, it's not really a lesson or observation, is if you're a really big fan of the white birch, you haven't bought it yet, might this might be a really really good time to do so. Um,
and here's the thing. So I plus nine time is a very very good place to look at past Grand Seikos, because he documents every Japanese release, whether it's Seiko, Orient, Citizen, Grand Seiko, Citizen, the Citizen. So
mhm,
everything that comes out, he documents. And if you look at last year, from January to April, Grand Seiko is going to release something in Watches and Wonders. We know that for a fact.
yeah.
But the number of watches that Grand Seiko have released for the whole market, which covers the entire world, excluding those little limited pieces, which are like 48 pieces, 100 pieces for some obscure Japanese retailer, they have slowed down considerably. Like, again, the number is still big. So if you say, oh, this they already released 6 models, but yes, they released 12 models by this time. So that number has definitely fallen. So I think they are listening to
Hmm.
customers' feedback and their retailers' feedback, because the retailers have been complaining that, hey, this is going on. For example, the Grand Seiko boutique, nobody wants to buy the regular pieces from them because, like, they have loyal customers, but they say, oh, I buy a watch for 7 grand with tax. Um, the watch is worth 4 grand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
I,
losing
I
3 grand. Yeah.
I feel like entry level Grand Seikos are a lot of bang for the dollar. Like you can get an entry level Grand Seiko for what, like 3 grand, 4 grand
Yeah.
used, and they're
Yeah.
they're a good, great alternative. I feel like to even a date dress or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Uh, AB saying great. Grand Seiko could have performed. They got greedy.
Everybody
Um,
gets greedy. Look,
Everybody
look
gets
at
greedy.
look at
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
at
For sure.
Omega prices. Look at Omega prices. I mean,
Hmm.
look at Breitling prices. Who the hell pays 9, 10 grand for a Navitimer?
Yeah.
I'll pay
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
up for four.
Yeah.
But like, nobody says that, right? Because it's a
Yeah.
Breitling.
Right. I've had a few GS, says Marcel. I'm down to the Godzilla. Watchmakers also seem to be enamored by everything they see. LOL. Um, Crazy how the SBGJ 235 hasn't been discontinued at one day.
I think they have finally discontinued it. Uh, and this is second-hand information, so please don't take my word for it. But it seems like they have finally, they're done with that model, so which they should have
Mm,
done 2 years ago.
yeah.
So there might still be a few floating around, but I think the production has stopped just because there's a new SLGH 019, the same Louis Watt dial on a Evolution 9 case. So titanium too.
Khan saying some people made me lately have made me really want to protect Philippe right now. Wonder who he's talking about. Cabby SVGW 231 has been on his watch list for years. Um,
That and the SBGM 221 are like the basic bitches of Grand Seiko. Everybody wants those. They're a darling of YouTubers. You
yeah,
know, you have a three-hander with a mechanical movement, mechanically hand-wound movement, and the other one is a mechanical GMT with 28 beats per second. So that's like, like if you want to be a little bit hipstery, like, oh, I want to dress watch. And again, like there are videos out there made by people who say it's kind of better than a Patek, which which I'm sure it's not.
yeah.
Uh, you
Speaking
know,
of Patek, Karan saying just everybody just buy a Patek and forget about the
Darren, if,
rest.
if I could buy Patek, would I be shilling Grand Seiko? Like on a Friday night at 9:27 in the evening. Come on.
Okay, let me. Okay, so we went a little bit off the rails here from the game plan, talking about Grand Seiko, spending a little bit more longer than I thought, but that's okay. Good conversation. Let's get into right before we start talking about like watches and wonders and what we're kind of hoping for. Yeah, non Rolex related. I know we're all talking about Rolex, but what we're looking for next week. A couple observations. There has been some releases that came out this week, and we're going to talk about some of them. But other than like a woman's Aquaterra, gold Aquaterra, right? Uh, Surprised that, I mean, unless I'm missing it, I haven't seen anything coming out of Omega today or this week.
I don't know.
Um,
I had hoped that Omega would release something. Chris, do you know anything about anything?
I honestly haven't. I've been so busy. I haven't really been able to keep up yet with like what they're releasing. But I mean, hopefully they release something cool. Omega, they do too many limited editions, so I know that.
yeah, but I mean, like usually, I mean, like I think like last year and the year before, they've released something about a week before Watches and Wonders, right? And so we haven't really seen much. Um, anyway, just an observation. Uh, Interesting. Go Zags! The college tournament's going on right now. I think I saw Alabama losing, and a couple of upsets. Wilson is saying, "Hey, Karan, a new Breguet Type 20 coming out soon. Just asking for a friend." Um, Cavi saying, "For some reason, it just works there, but I wish JLC could use a dial
No, no,
color for
I'm
the
not
Master
saying that
Series."
the watch is bad, but it's
Mm,
like I've seen this so many times. It's an awesome watch. It's just too many people buy the SBGW 231 and the SBGM 221 as their first Grand Seiko. So
yeah.
that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I call I call it a basic B. Good watch.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little. Oh, the little screen change there. If you guys don't, if you guys like that, let's talk about some releases that came out this week. Okay, in anticipation of what's coming out next week here. Um, one second. I think it looks like our heads are getting cut off over there. No. Okay.
No,
Okay. Good. Okay. So Longines. All right. So Longines came out with some releases this week. The Flyback Chronograph, good looking watch. I would have to say, and again, Longines going into its playbook and getting this like nice little heritage vintage look out of these chronos here. And this is a thick puppy though, 17 millimeters on this one.
yeah,
Um,
it's a Chaz sized watch. Perfect for Chaz.
yeah, for sure. I mean, look, it's good looking, man. I mean, Chris, what do you think about Longines and this
I
watch in
like
particular?
what they've done like the last couple of years. They've really
Yeah,
kind of reinvigorated the brand. They're
yeah.
obviously more popular over in Asia, or they had been, but they're starting to get more popular over here in the United States. And I feel like they're gearing more towards the United States European audience. But what movement is that in that? Is that the Lemania?
No, I think it'll probably be a Valjoux, right?
Valjoux?
It's
Um,
Okay.
well,
or
it's a
ETA.
modification of a value
Hmm. Yeah,
because the caliber starts with an L. I don't remember what it was, but it's definitely a modified value. But the value is a newer reference. So because ETA owns value, and
right, right, right.
they give, and this also I think has a unique beat rate that Longines watches have,
Hmm.
25.6. It should be there in the article, but
Yeah,
yeah.
this is more of an interview on the CEO. It's not about this. I kind of I picked the wrong one. Um, the wrong article on the release. Let's see here, new in 2023. Anyway, continue, Deb. Sorry.
No, no. I mean, it's an awesome release. If you have the wrists for it, go for it. Personally, I don't like two twin register chronos. It throws me off. I need three.
Mm.
So I would never buy it. Number two, it's very huge. It's very big. So
Yeah.
I personally like it, but I mean, I can pull off the lunar palette, so I feel like I could rock that.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, base 77. Yeah, it's that L caliber L movement, but it's a base 7753, right? So that's an ETA or Valjoux with a date or something like that. It's some other feature on it, I think, right? But it has a 68 meter hour power reserve. Um, 17 millimeters though. That's pretty thick. I can do 15.
yeah.
Um,
So I'm reading this off the article. Caliber L791.4, deeply modified 7753 with a column wheel, a flyback function, a
yeah,
silicon hairspring, and a revised 3.5 hertz
yeah.
frequency.
What do
I
they
mean,
retail? Like 2 3 grand?
4450, I think.
this one's, yeah, 4,200 on strap, 4,300 on bracelet. Sounds, I mean, specs wise, sounds great, right? Um,
Specs wise,
uh,
yeah. I mean, where do you get? So the only chronograph that I can think of with a flyback function and that price point is a Breguet Type 20, an old one.
Mm,
And those are expensive to service because it's a Frederick Piguet 1185 movement. This, I don't think it's going to be as expensive to service as a Breguet.
no.
yeah. Thanks, guys, for clearing that up. That the difference between the 70 Maison for between the 7750 and the 7753.
Mhm.
Um, it has a date pusher. I like thick watches up to a certain price point, for sure. Um, Sands of Time. Sam has got the new Hanhart 417 ES on his mind. Good looking watch for sure.
I love
Okay,
Hanhart.
yeah, Hanhart, great brand, great German brand. Um, let's get back here to some of these other releases. Um, Louis Aurard. Okay, we can probably skip that, right, Deb and Chris? Um, so, okay, I like Glazute very much. Um, I don't quite get this this limited edition piece. I understand it's like a little cityscape in there. It's whatever city, blah 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 blah. Um, but I don't know.
That
Um,
that's a German brand which is trying to be Grand Seiko, and they're not known for that. I mean, leave all the stories to the Japanese. Just
yeah.
do your thing. The standard Pano Inverse is a very
Mm.
good watch. Probably one third of the price. I don't know. Is this a steel piece or
No,
a?
this is a platinum case. I mean,
Uh,
this is going to be like a 50, $60,000 watch, right? I
okay.
imagine.
Yeah. So
Um, boy, kind of thin with the interesting releases. I got to tell you, this week, like I said, was hoping more for something with Omega. Nomos coming out with different dial colors.
I quite like
Um,
both of them. I've never bought a Nomos, and I don't know if I ever will. But
you like these?
I like the green one. with the
Yeah.
pop of orange.
I like Nomus. I had no experience with them, but I like what they are for the price point.
Okay, so Urwerk coming out with the UR 102 Reloaded. Um, a little bit lower price point right on these, right? Making their work a little bit more accessible. I think that
It's
was the
like
plan.
68,000 Swiss francs. I mean, nothing slow about that. I mean,
Right, that's
in
true.
their catalog, yes, definitely,
Yeah,
but
We know Michael Jordan will buy one.
yeah, right. Um,
probably.
I got to tell you, I mean, I got some friends who really like this watch. It really does nothing for me.
No, that's to me that's a trinket. I don't really care for that watch. I like traditional watches with traditional dials. Funky watches are not for me. Even though I'll say that I like it, I'll only like it from a distance.
Yeah, I mean, I, I like I like watches that look like watches, right? Having said that, there's some Urwerks out there that are just completely beautiful, don't look like watches to me, but I like them. For me, aesthetically, I just don't. This doesn't really do anything, man. This doesn't do anything for me. Um,
I think the only woodwork I really like is the one which has like scales on the back, like like
yeah,
a
yeah, 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 yeah.
T-Rex. I don't know which one that is, but not my price bracket, not my tax bracket. So I don't really care about the brand.
I
AB saying that this watch is a nightmare. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
I was gonna say I can appreciate the brand. It's one of those ones like I've been fortunate to hold in person, but not my personal style. I can appreciate the work, the craftsmanship that goes behind them, the uniqueness, but it's just not my personal style. I'm more of a stealthy kind of person when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, I hear you. Urwerk is a nightmare. AB saying, intern saying it's only 50 something for both of the watches.
Yes.
Um,
Sorry. I again like I don't know a lot about the woodwork brand as a whole, and whatever I've learned it from the intern and my friend Amin because they are avid aficionados of the brand, but it just doesn't do anything for me. It's
yeah, yeah, I hear you. Colin saying, can we speculate on the Rolex teaser video for a few
I
hours?
think everybody has done that to death.
Yeah, nah.
So
At the Bobby Leg streams, we're always late to the party, and we won't, you know, we'll
I
we'll,
I
we'll,
I
we'll let
I'd
everyone
rather
go.
have an MBNF logical one over that.
Yeah.
If I could
Uh,
afford.
this Chad's saying this Urwerk cues my PTSD reminds me of my bathroom scales.
I
uh,
think that's the perfect time to wear the long jeans then. Hey
yeah.
yo.
Hey yo. Extremely unreliable and service is a joke. Um, that Urwerk belongs in the trash can. Yikes. A novelty watch, in my opinion, don't do a whole lot for me. Um, James said the Urwick looks like their modern rendition of old parking meter watches. I'd rather have an MBNF, and they both of the watches. I mean, the set. Okay. Um, Rolex is titanium mania. LOL. Hmm. Okay. Fair enough.
All right, guys. I think I'm going to have to call it a night.
Oh.
But
Okay.
Bobby,
Yeah,
thanks
Chris.
for
Yeah.
having me on.
No. No.
Dib,
No
good
worries,
seeing
man.
you, bud.
Yep.
All right. Good seeing you,
Good to
Chris.
see you, Chris. Talk
All
to you
right.
soon, buddy.
Thanks. Talk to you soon. Later, guys.
All right. Okay, shifting perspective, Dib. You see that? That was pretty seamless how I did that.
Mm,
Um, okay,
yeah.
so
Uh,
what do you think?
Bobby, before you move on to the Rado, just a correction. The two pieces include, I mean, it's sold as a set, those two works. There's 56,000 Swiss francs. Just a correction, not 68 grand for one, but
Yeah.
still no, even at that price point.
At the Bobby Legs stream, we like to correct ourselves when we make mistakes. So, Dib, thank you, and I appreciate for your transparency to clearing that up for us. Okay, Rado, Dib. I mean, how many times are they going to put lipstick on a pig, as they say?
That
Um,
that pig is growing old. Picky needs to go. Like where's the ham? I'll
Yeah.
bring the cheese. Yikes!
I do like these. I mean, well, not this particular one per se. I do like the Captain Hooks. I mean, I would never. I don't think I'd ever buy one. Um, just because there's so many other watches that I think I'd buy first.
I just can't say anything nice about that. I mean, the watch is decent. It's a good watch for 2 grand
Yeah,
MSRP. I mean, my God, that's ugly. Like, come on. Because for when I first saw it, I thought it was bronze, but I'm like, no, 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 it's fake gold. I mean, so
yeah.
it is ugly, 100%.
Celine Gyro, she said, ain't that bad. You just had it worse up a second ago.
I
Okay.
mean, you can have two ugly watches at the same time. We don't
Yeah.
judge. We're just stating a fact.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Tell us what you think about this Rado. Um, did I just call it a Captain Hook? Did I call it a Captain Hook?
I might have missed it.
Uh, Captain Cook. Yeah, I probably did call it a Captain Hook. Okay. Um, yeah. Anything else, Dib, that you are interested in talking about?
Do you
That
want to go through the whole Rolex catalog? Yes, if you will.
Sure. Do you want to let's pull up their
I,
Insta.
I I don't think I don't even think it's worth pulling up the Instagram video. All we need to do is go to Adrian Barker of Bark and Jack, and he will
Yeah,
give you the goods. Because
he'll
he,
give us
he
an
is at
instant
the Tudor he's at the Tudor HQ giving us the details for his fans, for the community.
for the community. Okay, so what do you when you see this video? All right, we're totally gonna do an Archie luxury Tim Wright kind of stream for the next 18 minutes. Okay, let's analyze what we're seeing here. So what are you expecting? What does this video? What pops out for you
So
here?
four things pop up for me. One would be the Explorer, like the
Yeah.
first, maybe a white dial Explorer. The second thing would be the titanium sub slash yachtmaster. Again, I don't know. Probably gonna be the yachtmaster. This orange dial, I think it's gonna be a new OP.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth, which is gonna break my heart, is probably gonna be a GMT Pepsi Coke. Sorry, a GMT Coke.
Hmm.
So I I have heard from other people who have heard from other people, like we all do, that the Pepsi is getting discontinued. So if
Mm-hmm.
that's the case, I think a Coke is very likely because they do need a steel talisman, like having the big watch. So I think those are the releases that we expect. Maybe a Cellini because I think there was talk about Cellini because I was listening to Watchfinder while I was going downtown, and they are speculating that there's a Cellini in this teaser video. So
Mm-hmm.
it's everything's out there. You just need to comb through all the shit and try to figure out which is what.
Yeah, I think Dib, I think what's going to be more interesting of instead of like what is going to be new is like what is going to be let go. That's what I'm more interested in seeing if they discontinue anything. And for me, what you said about you heard from a guy who heard from a guy that the Pepsi is going to be discontinued. That's a bummer. That's a real bummer for me.
That's a bummer, and if they have a new Coke out, forget about getting it because
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
it's not going to happen.
heavyweights who need to have 50 Rolexes,
Yeah.
they'll get first dibs because they're heavyweight spenders, right? So because I was talking to a to my local salesperson, and like I told him I've been waiting for a year and a half now, and I did not see my Pepsi. So, and he told me like if the Pepsi is discontinued and a Coke comes in, you're not seeing it for the
Yeah,
next year or two because we have
easily.
too many clients who spend 1 million plus with our store,
Hmm.
and it's just you have no chance, you have no shot. It's back of the line, you go. I mean, anyhow, you're at the back of the line. You're nowhere near the front, but That's just how it is. And every time Rolex releases new watches nowadays,
Yeah,
it's become such a bad game that you have to play, that sometimes it's underwritten that you need to buy jewelry, you need to buy other watches that you don't need. And I have people who have bought, who were on the list for a long time, and they decided to, like, all right, I'm going to buy a bunch of stuff for my wife. And watches kept rolling in like crazy.
yeah,
Pepsi, Daytona, root beer, everything came in a matter of a few months. So everybody's trying to pad their own pockets. It's just that the people who want one or two gets kind of screwed.
yeah.
That's
Maison
what.
saying Maison saying Rolex are jumping onto the titanium bandwagon. Not revolutionary. 50 fathoms of titanium predates Rolex by 4 years. Undoubtedly, there are many other dive watches that predate that. Um, Teal Sky Dweller, William is saying.
Oh yeah, that
Um,
forgot about that.
about Karan saying, I like an old school coral dial.
Lovely.
Um,
I
Paul saying
agree.
some yeah, some dude in his mom's basement in Iowa already figured this out. See Reddit. Um,
Yeah, if you turn to Reddit, you're already a Rolex god. I mean, it's a given.
some sort of cola needs to be in the catalog. White Dial Explorer would be a Pole Explorer. FML
Yeah,
intern. I know we're talking about Rolex. The orange dial sub is going to be a smoke. Going to
I
be a
don't
smoke
think,
show.
Chaz. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but if it's gonna be a colored dial, it's either gonna be an OP or it's gonna be a day date. Not a day date, but maybe a date just. You know.
It's leaked on the Rolex forums. I think he's talking about the Pepsi, right?
Honestly, unless and until I see real pics, I'm not gonna believe them. But it's fun to talk about it, discuss about it. Like which is gonna get discontinued. Like you
Yeah,
create all the buzz, you create all the hype. Like Maison said, right? Blancpain did titanium 50 fathoms 4 years ago. Who cares? Nobody
right.
gives a nobody gives a flying f. But
Yeah,
everybody who knows nothing about watches, they're going crazy because, oh my God, Rolex is coming out with a titanium Yachtmaster.
yeah,
So
yeah. And speaking of that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like that was I've heard some people talk about that, and I think that'd be if Rolex is going to come out with a titanium watch, to me it makes sense that they do it with the Yacht Master, because that would just the Yacht Master being one of those lines in the Rolex catalog that has been less loved over the years, and you throw in a new material that Rolex has not. That as far as I know, has ever used before in their watches, in their cases, and you put it in the Yachtmaster line. Yachtmaster becomes a very, very popular watch, right? It's answering the prayers of many Rolex fans. When can we get a titanium watch? Would make sense with some of the bigger watches, right? Like a Sea Dweller to do that, right? But but they're going to do it. But if they do it with titanium, why not build up a line that has been not loved in the past? That's the way
I
I look
think
at it.
the Yachtmaster is a great line. I mean, especially the rose gold one with the black bezel. That's an awesome piece.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, I love it. I'm a big fan of the Yachtmaster and all its iterations, except for the Yachtmaster too. But of the Yachtmaster, big fan of it. Joey B saying, "Here's my wild prediction: the orange dial is a Milgauss." Paul saying, "You got to watch your mouth, Dib. I can do it." I
I'm
don't.
not sure what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's saying. Um, Interesting. To Maison, the Pelagos is essentially a Rolex, and it predates the 50 fathoms.
Great watch, but did it create this hype when it came out?
Right, right. Um, Tom's saying, I think the Pepsi might go and in return later in a precious metal. Rolex wouldn't have to do too many different colors of the GMT in their catalog. They are a jewelry brand and are going precious metals. Um, Pepsi will be a white gold only, like it used to be.
Mhm.
Hmm. Okay. I'm with Colin on that one. I think that makes sense. Rolex screwed the value of their own OG Batman, but I'll forgive them if they discontinue the Pepsi. LOL. Um, bring it back as a lefty Pepsi. That's funny. Magenta sub. It's going to happen at some point, so just get it done. Orange dial likely needs to be a Day Date, Datejust, Milgauss, Daytona, or Cellini, given the applied logo. Um, well, that
I
orange
don't
dial
know.
has.
I don't know if it was a day date because if you see the teaser, there's no date cutout on the top. So maybe
Hmm.
it's not a day date. But if you have an orange coral dial, it's gonna be one of those pieces that you can see from the 70s. I mean, Rolex was a real innovator at that time, especially with different dials. I won't say innovator, but they did fancy stuff.
Caliber agrees with you. Why so much talk? We all know that Paddock is going to steal the show.
Patek is probably going to Patel Brothers just to get their groceries, so no, probably not.
What?
And that joke is only applicable to Indians. I'm sorry. That was for Karan.
Patel Brothers? Is that like a grocery store? Is that like a Pueblo or
That's like the grocery Indian chain in the US. So
in the U.S.?
yeah, yeah, big, big chain. Every big city you go, you have a Patel Brothers.
Man,
But
so like, okay. I mean, like, is it like there's big populations of Indians in New Jersey, right, where I live, like in Edison, Jersey
mhm.
City. Uh, Granted, I haven't been in Edison in a really, really long time. But in Jersey City, I've never seen the Patel brothers. Is that something like a recent or
Now I think the first Patel Brothers was started in 1978 in the US. So it's been here for a while.
okay? Fair enough. Colin is saying you can see the day cut out with gold frame above the crown. That is a day date, no doubt. Colin with
Maybe
the eagle
I'm
eyes.
sorry, I did not notice that. But yeah, if you say so, 100%, that's gonna look epic in a day-date configuration.
Maison saying if in the future Rolex does do an orange sub, people will lose their mind. Um, does Patel Bros stock the honey balls next to the hostess cakes? Tim?
I, I don't have any comebacks to that. Probably, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, so it's the hostess cakes, right? I mean, like they're wrapped up, right?
Yeah,
And
you
they're
don't get those in an Indian store. I've never seen a hostess cake.
no, but I mean, but you wouldn't see the honey balls wrapped up in like plastic, would you? Or they're more
First
like
of
in the
all,
can.
they're not. It's the same thing. It's not honey balls. It's gulab jamun. That's the correct name.
Okay, but you know what we're talking about. You know what we're talking about,
No,
right?
no, I don't know what you're talking about. I have to respectfully, disagree with you. You need to say gulab jamun,
All right.
and then we
Okay.
can proceed with the conversation.
Okay. So gulab jamun, right?
Yeah.
You don't see them in a store like in a like next to the ho hos, like in the plastic, right? I
No,
mean,
no.
they'll be like in cans or they'll be out.
The cans are the ones which got shipped from India, or maybe like those are not good. You need to get fresh ones. The
Yeah,
ones
yeah,
in
yeah.
cans have preservatives in it, and it kind of ruins the taste.
Of course. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
Um, but would you? So I've heard you many times say that the Indian food here, the cuisine, is nowhere near as what it is like at home. So
no,
would you would you rather have a can of honey balls, gulab jamun, from India, or fresh ones from here in the United States?
I'd have the fresh one from here
All right.
because if you get something from a can, it has preservatives in it,
Okay,
and
okay, okay.
it's
That's
just not
that's
good.
that's
Yeah.
the hill you're gonna die. Okay. What does this have to do with? It has everything to do with Rolex, Paul. Um, timeout. Now I'm craving a ho ho. Thanks, thanks, bro. So, anything else though, Dib, from next week that you're hoping to see? I mean, or just like anything
Um,
from Tudor maybe, or
Now I'm gonna say something unpopular late in the night. and that's my belief, not anybody else. You only get Tudor to get Rolex. I'm sorry. I've had three
Mm.
Tudors, by the way, but
Yeah.
don't care about Tudor that much. Omega, if they can come out with a baby Blue Prof or a slimmer Planet Ocean, 100%. Uh, Looking forward to that. Zenith, the entire brand is a dud brand to me now. I don't like anything that they come out with. So if they can surprise me with something, please. But again, like who am I, right? What else am I looking forward to? Grand Seiko,
Crazy.
because
Well,
I talked to Joe Kirk today. Well, he texted me. I did not talk. That they're going to Geneva today. They're going to come out with something new, maybe something good, maybe something very limited. You
hmm.
never know,
Yeah.
which
Yeah. Right.
actually holds value for once.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
the example Ryu Sendo SBGK015 that is holding value and is trading over retail. That's an FYI.
Yeah.
So what else? What else? Want something good from AP just to look at?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, VC. Nobody really talking about Vashron. What they're going to come out with.
Mm-hmm.
What else? It's a there's a lot of excitement going into it because like you have so many of these YouTubers who are going there streaming
Yeah.
live, and then you have Watch Advisor who takes the fun out of watching a live YouTube stream. Man doesn't have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
So it's like watching your very serious grandpa going through and talking about, oh, this is the brand, this is Alexander speaking, and I'm like, oh dear, make
Mm.
it a little bit fun. IWC, very very excited about the Ingenio that's coming out. Not the price, the watch itself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what I'm looking forward to as well. That's
That is something which has gotten me really excited, and I don't get excited about watches unless and until it's Grand Seiko. So yeah, that's all I can think of. I
yeah.
might be missing a few brands. I don't want Ming to come out with anything. Just deliver my watches to me, please. Stop bringing out watches.
Yep.
So
That Ming. Hey Thomas, thank you, Bobby. I just a contribution to posters to give you a nudge to getting those mugs. So, hey, so you're right, Thomas. I've been sitting on those mugs for a few months now. I have them. I've been so lazy to get them out. We've been getting some work done in the house, so everything was kind of like in the basement in storage. And I hate going in my basement. It's got like 5 foot ceilings, and it's just it's got the spider crickets. Anyway, I'm gonna get those out. I'm gonna get those out because a bunch of people who have joined the Bobby Legs YouTube um, membership and also in the Bobby Legs Discord. Um, they I owe you guys a bunch of bucks. I have some mugs for you guys. Don't worry. I'll get that out over the next couple of weeks. I promise you. I promise
oh,
you. Go ahead.
Cartier is supposed
Oh,
to have a banner release. Forgot
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
Don't ask me how I know, but a little birdie told me. So apparently they're going to have a lot of watches to be released to the general public, and those are not going to be limited. And GLC don't really care
mm,
what they have become now.
yeah, yeah.
Richmond. So yeah, I think that's
Colin,
about it.
Colin says in his house, they get the honey balls from McCann. Yeah.
Don't
Uh,
do that. Those are bad for your health.
Bunko said the worst thing I've seen in terms of canned food is a complete hamburger
Oh my God, that
with the
no.
bun
Ew.
and the accoutrement in
I
it,
mean,
like the ketchup and
you
the.
open the can and you can see mold, and you're like, oh, that's a new flavor. Try
Mm.
it. Why not?
It's like stuffed grape leaves in a can. Just not. Oh yeah, absolutely, Michael. Oof, stuffed grape leaves in a can, just brutal. Oof. Um, yeah, you need it fresh. And I actually like the grape leaves. I don't like it when they're cold because then they get hard. You need like room temp. You know what I mean? Um, Paul, oh, I love my Pelagos 39. So good. The loom is worth it. Joey B says I've moved on from all my Rolex and has two tutors.
I think that's in reaction to my comment of you only get Tudor to buy
Yeah,
Rolex.
yeah. Um, Marcel wants to see what IWC has done. Um, big time talking to Joe Kirk. Canned foods. We have reached rock bottom in subject matter here. Um, Crossing, I might start getting a boutique exclusives for GS in the future. Um,
That kind, Karan, get me a discount, please.
Intern saying the restaurant seems to be losing all the steam they've gained from just before COVID. Hmm. Hmm.
I
I like
mean,
to, yeah.
judging by the prices of the overseas, definitely, in the dealer groups.
I like to see some new colorway Navitimers from Breitling, but seeing as they gave the Navitimer a massive revision last year, not expecting it.
Complete snooze fest from Breitling with the premiere and the top time.
Yeah.
I don't, and again, like, as a Breitling fan, I like quite a few of their models. Well, not from the current catalog, but older pieces. I don't know where the brand is going, to be honest. Breitling at this point mostly seems to be bought by people who are diehard Breitling fans and people who don't know about watches.
Mr. Godiva, if Cartier brings back the Roadster, I love the Roadster. I love the Roadster. I don't know if they bring that back, but I do love me a Roadster, man. Um, Scott's saying I think the Explorer is getting a noise flex. Uh, Caliber says we have a place specializing in honey balls in town. Um, yes, with bun. Oh man, that is so gross. Um, Omega dropping a bomb to arrive before the turn of the decade, maybe. Um, Thomas is saying I want to see Grunfeld, Ferdinand, Bertude, Longa, Patek, and Resence have on. What he wants to see what they have in the cards. Um, I wish Cartier would make a cheaper.
Um, Langa is coming out with a, I don't care, Odysseus chronograph, apparently.
Oh, oh wow, that's interesting. Um, I don't know why mess with that watch. This is just so good the way it looks right now. I don't know. And I'm not a big fan of like. I mean, it's a sports watch, right? It's not technically a diver. Okay. Maybe they can make it work. I don't know, Deb. I wish they wouldn't do that. Wouldn't mess
Again,
with that
it's all
watch.
speculation, right? I
Yeah.
don't have any concrete
No, no,
proof.
no. Yeah, I take whatever you say literally as true.
No, no. Maybe I just pulled it out of my bottom. It's
Yeah.
just a bald-faced lie.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Deb, thank you so much for joining us, giving your insight and your predictions of what's going to happen next week and your thoughts on Grand Seiko. I always like to hear what you have to say with Grand Seiko. Anytime I have a question about them, I can always come to you because you just seem to have your finger on the heartbeat of Grand Seiko, as a brand and where it's going. So I really appreciate your take, chat. Really appreciate you chatting it up tonight with us. Chris from the Watch Now was here. Thank you, Chris, again for joining us. And don't forget to tune in this Sunday for another episode of Watch Soup with myself, Clayton from the Watchdog Podcast, and Sanjay from the Engineer Wannabe, where we review a couple of videos released during the week by the main or major content creators in the Watch YouTube space and our take on it. And guys, Dib, have a great weekend.
yep.
Everyone, chat, have a great weekend, and see you guys on Sunday at 9 p.m. Take care, guys.
Take care.